Well, good evening and welcome to episode number 4 of Stop Wasting Money with Ineffective Commercials. I'm Tim Burt, and as you can see behind me, not the normal setup, it's because I'm installing a new studio. So, please pardon my dust. Hopefully by next week, everything will be up and running and it will have a completely different look and it's going to be really cool and you're going to love it. I promise you. So, tonight's going to be fairly short, but you might want to grab a pen and paper and you might want to write some of this down because this is pretty core to what I believe in advertising. And one of those things is trying to convince an advertiser to run a commercial that might sound a bit unorthodox or out of the ordinary, out of the norm. How do you do that? One of the things that I just learned, a phrase that I learned in LA over the weekend, I was there for the Dan O'Day Production Summit and Seminar. It was the last one. It was really very bittersweet. Dan had mentioned a phrase, let me paraphrase it here. What's always best for the client, they may not necessarily like. So in other words, if you come up with a commercial that is really different, because a lot of clients say, well, I want something different. I want something that stands out and cuts through the clutter. And then when you give it to them, they go, yeah, I don't like it. And you ask them why, and they say, well, because it doesn't sound like a radio commercial, or it doesn't look like a TV commercial, or it doesn't look like a traditional print ad, web ad, billboard, whatever the case may be. How do you convince clients to get to that core nugget to really expand upon what they should be advertising? And that's actually a question which I'll address here in a moment. When you talk to a client and you say, you know what, you may not like it on the surface, but it's going to get you results, you have a far better chance of convincing that client to actually go ahead and run the commercial and spend the money with you. If you say, look, I know this isn't what you're probably accustomed to hearing, but I feel this has a far better chance of success than running something that sounds like something that's already on the air. Again, one of my mottos that I always, core principles that I live by, is I don't see the point in having something that everybody else already has. And you could translate that to radio, TV, web, print, whatever. And I don't see the point in having an ad that is just like everything else that's already on the air or on the web. Again, last week when I talked about if you were lost in the forest, would you dress up as a tree? Well, when you run an ad that looks, sounds, and basically is something that everybody else already has, you're dressing up as a tree in that forest. So you have to do something different. If you were lost in the forest, what would you do? You'd set yourself on fire, or you'd set something on fire, right? Because you want to draw attention to yourself. So a question that I got from Sean Antoviak, and I will show you. It's right here. I don't know if you can see it. There it is. Let me get a little closer. His question, which, by the way, you can send me your questions at timburtmedia@gmail.com. That's timburtmedia@gmail.com. And the question is, I'd like you to discuss how to help people realize their selling point. Sometimes they might not know. How do you make them realize what their selling point is? And we had talked about a few weeks ago, and thank you, Sean, for the question. Really appreciate it. The question addresses something that I talked about briefly last week, and finding that core nugget. And the easiest way to do this is if you walked into a business, let's take, for instance, I'll tell you what, how about two gyms, two athletic facilities? And maybe they're across the street from each other or very, very close in proximity. And you say, well, you go into gym A, right? And maybe they lure you in with a special, like a special price point. Join for $1, one of those kind of deals. We've all heard those, right? And so you go in and they say, well, we have cardio machines and we have a pool and we have ellipticals and we have treadmills and we have free weights and all this stuff. And in the back of your mind, you're thinking, yeah, so does the other guy. So does the gym across the street or down the block, whatever. If you were to ask them, well, why shouldn't I just go sign up at Gym B because I live right down the street. I mean, it's equal distance for me to go to either one of you guys, or it's the distance is really irrelevant. Why shouldn't I just go down to the street and sign up with those guys? And they will tell you at that point, they will tell you what makes them different. Again, business owners got into business to be different. They got into business because they saw a hole, they saw a void in the marketplace, and they're looking to fill that void. If you ask them that question, why shouldn't I just go to your competitor and sign up for your gym, for their gym? They will tell you what that other gym, what their competitor does not have. At that point, what they tell you, that's what you base your list on, and that's what you base your commercial around, because that is what makes them different. Every gym has free weights, cardio, ellipticals, treadmills. Some have a pool, some don't. Maybe that's your angle in. Who knows? But they're going to tell you what makes them different. And then when you go to Gym B, if they have all of that stuff, or if they have things that are comparable, and then you say, well, why shouldn't I just sign up over at Gym A because I was just there? Well, they're going to say, well, what did Gym A offer you? And you could say, well, they said they'd sign me up for $1. Well, either that point, they're going to accept that offer, or they're going to say, you know what, we can't beat that. We're sorry. We hope you have fun over at Gym A. So either way, if you ask a business owner, why shouldn't I go to your competition, they will tell you what makes them different. So I hope that helps. And like I said, those things that they list, that's what you base your commercial around. And in a circumstance of a business that has a unique location or a unique vantage point of the city, something like that, that's what you should base it on. Okay, don't say, like, for example, a restaurant that is in the tallest, it's in the highest floor in the city. You know what? You get a spectacular view of the city when you dine at XYZ Italian restaurant or whatever. Luigi's Pizza or whatever it is. Those things that make them unique, the reason that they chose out that facility, that's what makes them different. That's what you base your commercial around. So I hope that helps. And I want to thank you for watching. And of course, you can find me on WordPress. You can find me on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. Just look for Tim Burt Media. That's Timburt Media. And also timburtmedia.com. I should have said that in the outset. And by next week, I hope that this studio is ready to roll, because frankly, I'm getting tired of working on it. It's a lot of work, but I know you're going to love it, because I'm really excited to get it going. Again, questions, if you have one, timburtmedia@gmail.com, timburtmedia@gmail.com. I thank you so much for watching. Good luck. And of course, if you have any questions, email me. And if there's a script I can help you out with, email me with that as well. I'm Tim Burt. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next Tuesday.